All right, good morning, everyone. It is 8:38 in the morning of September 13th, 2021, and this is my morning strategy session. Today it is really slow. There's only one candidate on my small cap scanner that looks attractive to me, and even it is just it's an acquisition, ITMR. It's got it's got the volume I'd want. It has the price range that I want, and it has the float that I want. But it's an acquisition, so that means it's probably here. We'll take a look at it real quick. It's an acquisition, and so this thing is most likely today going to just run sideways and not move all day. It's going to just be flat pretty much all day. All right. So, and then there's only one large cap that's on my scanner that I like. That's CCJ. CCJ, this is a uranium processor. So it's up pre-market, and this is if what I'm looking for here is a break above 2584, a retest, and then a move higher. There's more resistance on this thing over 2584 here. There's more resistance at 2645. So a break and a hold of 2584 will just mean it will just be a really quick trade, because then I'll be looking for the break and hold above 2645. So not even really all that great of a candidate today. And you can see here it's had a really rather significant run up here in the past few days. Put in a really nice, if I'd been aware of this sort of little 2-day consolidation area, and then it broke out above that. So this is essentially, it's a uranium play. I haven't looked at the uranium chart, but apparently uranium is really catching a bid right now. I've never traded uranium. I've never traded any companies that refine uranium. I'm just trading according to the chart here. So if this thing spent, let's see, 6 days going into this consolidation period, you can, I don't know if you want to say you can count on another 6 days of movement. It's typical that you'll see the same amount of time going into a consolidation as the same amount of time spent releasing to the other side of the consolidation. So a really nice breakout right here. Really nice breakout setup right here over top of 2312. This thing just zoomed, really took off. So I don't have a high degree of confidence on whether I'll trade this today or not. I'm just going to have to see. I suppose. If this thing pulls back after the open, I will look for an entry at its most recent close, 2443, and then its most recent high at 2508. Yeah, so there's kind of a lot going on in this chart. Let's pull it up on the 10-minute. So support down here between 2508 and 2443, and then resistance up here between 2584 and 2645. Which way this thing goes, nobody knows. And how far it goes, you can see here in the pre-market that it's gotten rejected. It came up into this zone and got rejected. So we'll see what happens today. We'll see if a trade reveals itself on this thing. There's, as of right now, even if it comes down into this area, I'll be watching the level 2 to see where buyers and sellers come in with volume. And this thing's going to have volume, so it's good. And then the rest of these three, pretty much everything, EFTR, ASAN, and DraftKings here, these are all just on watch. CCJ is just a little bit more than on watch. Like, if to just kind of throw some numbers off the top of my head, from 0 to 100%, what's the likelihood that I'll trade CCJ? I'd say maybe 50%, whereas EFTR is maybe 25%. Even if EFTR puts in the move that I'm looking for, I still may not even trade it. ASAN, same thing, probably 10% odds of trading it. DraftKings, with the way that it's setting up today, 10% chance that I'll trade it. We'll see what happens. But yeah, there's no clear. I mean, other than CCJ, there's nothing that's clear. Everything else is on watch. I mean, okay, so let's take a look at EFTR. EFTR is putting in this bull flag right here. Let's take these trend lines out so it's a little bit easier to see. And here's let's take that out. Get those out of there. Okay. So now what we've got here is a bull flag, but it's a really toppy bull flag. You can see here, it's come up to the top, and you can call this consolidation. You can call this pennant right here consolidation. But I've seen prettier flags, and that is like, you get more body of the candle inside of the flag, and you get red and green. This is a 3-day consolidation flag. So first, looking for a break of, is that $29.20? Got a lot of, let me get rid of this horizontal ray. $32, a break of $32 is the first break. And then there's going to be, if it's going to happen today, it's going to need to then break 36.69 and then 40.42 for a true break. So, there's a lot going on here with this chart and some really big ranges. Finance and financial conglomerates here. And the total common shares outstanding is 22 million, 22.55 million. Let's see what the, find out what the float is. I found Yahoo is the best resource for finding out float. For all the resources that I have, Yahoo, the free Yahoo, is the one that is the best. So the float is only 9.71 million. So, this thing, if it gets going, it could really start to squeeze. I'm going to put a note in here. Okay, let's move that around a little bit. We'll move it to right over here. All right. So, oh no, it's on DraftKings. Let's delete that and get back over here to EFTR. How did I end up on DraftKings? I don't know. Try this again. I'll make the text size a little bit bigger this time so it's easier to see, a little bit easier on my eyes. All right, float equals 9.71 million. Okay, so yeah, there's a little bit better of a chance that I'll trade this. I mean, it's really got a lot of work to do here. I'm going to put some alarms on this thing. This is my 10-minute. It's out of range. At least I can get my first alarm on it. $29.20, and then this $32 one. So, EFTR just crushed $29.20. that was fast. All right, so $29.20 comes from this previous high back here on the 25th of August after it announced whatever news it was going to announce. Let me take a look at the level 2 here real quick. Let's see if the level 2's moving fast. Level 2 is kind of just creeping, kind of slow, a little bit on the slow side. And the spreads aren't bad. Okay, so that's EFTR. ASAN, I really don't know what to make of ASAN right now. I did trade this for a little bit of profit at the on this day back here on the 2nd of September. This thing put an incredible move in. Let's see, it opened here at 87, dipped all the way down past its previous, into its previous range, close to its previous close, and then came roaring back. That's a really impressive move. Today, if it opened up, it would open up inside of this kind of topping. This looks really toppy to me. So it would open up here in this kind of toppy area. So what happens today, I don't know. I've got an eye on it. So if this thing decides to dip back down and then cross back above its previous high, I'll put an alarm there on its previous high. So if it starts crossing above its previous high, especially if it dips down and then starts crossing it, that'll be bullish. And I've got DraftKings. We'll see what happens with this thing. Looking for a break and a hold of $64.19. I've had my eye on this thing. I've been watching this thing for a few days now, and so we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll, and I'm gonna I'll put an alarm on 64.19. Okay, I don't know when I put that alarm on, so we'll put a new one on there, 64.19. Let's see, extended crossing horizontal ray, correct. Okay, so that's the strategy for the day, and there's not really a lot of strategy there. It's kind of like a wait and see, where things get support, the buying, where the buying and selling comes in on the level 2. Do technical levels get broken? We'll see what happens. All right, so the broader market here, this is an interesting thing. There were, over the weekend, there were a lot of articles and YouTube videos and so forth on the coming of the next crash. I understand, I do, and it's because there's just so much negativity in the market. I mean, there really is. But the Fed is, the Fed has a trading desk. The Fed is still, doing quantitative easing. It's still doing, its Operation Twist. It still has its special investment vehicles with BlackRock and so on and so on. It's still bullish. It's like what's going to turn this thing around is going to be, the thing about it's if the Fed loses control, but I just don't see the Fed losing control. It's just not going to happen. And by the time the Fed finally starts to taper and so forth, it's going to be once the economy is ready to pick up and start moving on its own. So, yeah, still bullish the SPY and the S&P here. The VIX. So we had a pop up on the VIX on Friday, which corresponded with a little bit of a downturn on the market. And here it is in the gap again. And today it's about 80 points from falling back below the gap again. So was this is this a new trend? I mean, the VIX had 3 attempts to break down and hold below this resistance line here at roughly 1550 or so. It just hasn't been able to do it. So now, is this the bottom of the VIX? Is this the reversal area of the trend? Oh, I don't know. If we start getting new higher highs in the VIX that hold, then yeah. But I just don't see that happening. I just don't see that that's the way it's going to go. So I'm still bullish. I'm looking for a breakdown below this dotted white line here at 1820, which represents the bottom of the gap from way back here in February of 2020. Here's the gap in the VIX back here. And this gap has been relevant, now for over, a year, almost 2 years, a year and 3/4. So, yeah, I'm looking for it to come back down below 1821, hold below 1821, and then break down below this resistance area. We'll see what happens. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Bitcoin is still short term. Speaking in the short term, and I'm talking only between now and September 17th, roughly, the middle of next week or so. Bitcoin is bearish, looking for a retest of 42,000 here, possibly lower. If it breaks down below 42,000 and holds below 42,000, I think there are a lot of lower prices to come on Bitcoin. I will be, I don't really trade Bitcoin or anything, and but I am looking to get in investments for miners. But break down below 42,000 here would bring really like 19,000 back into play. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Okay, so that is my morning strategy session, everybody. Good luck out there. Keep your risk tight. Click like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, tap the bell, and I will see you at the recap. I am out.